Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a still life theme. This one should be really easy. Kind of goes along the lines with the quarantine, i.e. you can do this in your house with very little equipment and very little stuff. The items I picked today are a old Canon camera that my mom sent me, my watch, a razor, my boar hair brush, and soap for shaving, as well as my pocket knife and some cologne. These are all kind of recommendations that my family gave me. I asked them, I was like, hey, when you think of man stuff, what do you think of? And this is kind of what we came up with. The area that I picked is actually just my bedroom. It's I had this old table that I built out of a pallet that's got this really dark stain on it. I think it's gonna go with the theme of the man stuff really well. I have this big window right here. It's kind of interesting lighting. The clouds are kind of rolling by. It's kind of a scattered layer. So I'm getting real hard light and real soft light coming in. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna cover it up with a reflector. These things are super awesome. They're really versatile. There's like a million different things you could do with this. I'm actually gonna take it apart into two pieces. I'm gonna hang the outer covering over to create a black backdrop, and then I'm gonna use the translucent part of it, which is the main frame of it, to cover up the window to soften the light that's coming in. I'll be honest, this is my first ever still life, or the first one since I think high school that I've done, so I can't really remember. I'm really just kind of messing around with it till it looks good. I'm just gonna kind of throw the stuff on here and arrange it differently. I'm just gonna kind of mess with it, see what looks best, see how I like things. Obviously, you kind of want the taller stuff in the back. You don't want to cover up your focal point, or you don't really want to cover up other items in there. So I think something like that is gonna look pretty good. Shooting my D3000, it's an 11-year-old camera. I have the 50mm on here. One rule of thumb that I would say is to let stuff hang off of the edges. You don't want to have like a cluster of things. Like if I were to back up and take just a picture of the whole table, it would look pretty weird. It looks intentionally placed. Obviously, it's a still life. Everything in there is intentionally placed anyway. I don't think it's as aesthetically pleasing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a couple of pictures from a couple of different vantage points. Now, one thing that I'm gonna probably do is I'm gonna throw this on a tripod. Because this camera is so old, I don't wanna go above maybe ISO of 200 or so. I'm not gonna push the ISO too much, but it's a little too dark for this in here, even at 1.8, so I'm gonna have to slow my shutter speed down. Luckily, none of this stuff's moving, so I can kind of have almost a long exposure for this. So now I have this thing set up on a tripod. I'm actually going to do one more thing. I'm gonna use the self timer because I don't want to add any kind of vibration by me actually pushing the shutter button. An additional thing I'm gonna do, because I moved the ISO up when I was trying to shoot it handheld, I'm gonna bring that back down to 100 to get the clearest possible picture. Okay, so I ended up taking it off of f1.8. Shooting it that low or that wide open is really blurring out everything, and the only thing, especially this close, because the lens is so close, that depth of field effect is gonna be so much more than if it were like something that was 20 feet away. You wouldn't get that much background and foreground blur relative to the actual subject. So I've moved it to f1.4 just to kind of give me a little more space on it. And then I'm gonna just kind of take pictures from different angles. The nice thing about digital is that you can take 700 pictures, you can just delete them later. But I'm really trying to practice my composure and how I compose pictures. That's kind of my recent thing. So I don't want to go to a photo shoot and take 700 pictures and then come back and have to go through. I'm trying to really take my time and work on the composure. So I'm trying to be more deliberate. So I might actually rotate this table to give some kind of depth to the whole thing. So one thing that is kind of going on right now is I can actually see the wrinkles in the fabric that I'm using as a backdrop. I don't want that, so I'm gonna actually drop my exposure a little bit just using my exposure compensation. I'm gonna lower that a little bit just so I can have that really dark background. Okay, now that I've done my D3000 and my Z6, I'm actually gonna use 100% iPhone only pictures. I'll do a screen capture so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Anyway, that's what I got for right now. I appreciate you guys kind of tagging along with me on my my adventure. Obviously, there's a lot to learn. I'm new to the whole video making thing. I've been up since midnight pretty much every night that I've been doing one of these, editing these videos together. So pretty steep learning curve, but I'm figuring it out. So if you guys wouldn't mind liking it, sharing it with your friends, maybe spark some inspiration for somebody while they're kind of stuck in quarantine.